Hey, Matt, who's this?
Why, this is the newest member of the Welcome to the Basement family. Her name is Cece. She's a black tabby cat with white accents. She's a bundle of energy, and she's cute as a button.
Who knows what this cat'll do?
Oh. Well.
I don't remember having a vote on this whole thing.
Now, Craig, how can you say no to a little kitten?
You're right.
That was Ernesto. He is getting along with Cece very well, although sometimes he has mixed feelings about their wrestling matches. Imagine how many movies we're going to get to watch together with the little girl.
Cat on a Hut Tin Roof? Cat Baloo? Lion in Winter?
Go on. You know you can.
Catch Me If You Can?
Pretty cute, huh? Meow.
Aristocats.
I've got a bunch of movies that I've never seen before. You don't know what they are. Every episode, I'm going to spring one on you. It might be good, it might be bad. We'll watch it and talk about it. Welcome to the basement. Are you feeling okay, Craig?
Yes, I am,
Are you
Matt.
sure?
Yeah.
The reason for my concern is that last time here on the show we watched Dungeons & Dragons. And as any overprotective parent or deluded religious leader from the 1980s will tell you, Dungeons & Dragons leads to nothing but devil worship, insanity, and suicide. This has been well documented, and it happened to none other than Oscar-winning superstar Tom Hanks. You survived Dungeons & Dragons, but are you ready for mazes and monsters?
This. I've seen it.
Broadcast in 1982, that's right, this is our first made-for-TV movie. MAM stars a 26-year-old Tom Hanks in his first feature film role. It is based on a novel of the same name by Rona Jaffe. It's a fictionalized account of the disappearance of a Michigan college student based on inaccurate newspaper stories about the case.
Inaccurate newspaper stories. That's what they call the internet back then.
So I guess you could call June RPG Month here in the basement, featuring two films that wildly misrepresent the role-playing experience.
Yes.
We're going to get to see the early work of Tom Hanks.
Yes.
America's bosom buddy.
That's right. This is back when Bosom Buddies was on. I did see this when it was on. You doing all right, Matt?
I just spilled all over myself.
Drinking problem. All right. So I saw this back when it was first broadcast, way back when.
You did see the whole thing?
As far as I know, but it's not like I journaled it afterwards. Chris Makepeace in this as well.
Who's that?
You'll recognize him from Meatballs.
So we got a buddy and a meatball. We're ready to go. D&D. Stay away from it. Choose a different hobby instead.
Boat in a bottle kit.
No one's ever gone crazy by building a boat in a bottle.
I think it's a first sign of insanity, Matt. Here's the bottle. Next time you see this thing, it's going to be filled with boats.
Break out that bag of dice, dust off your fiend folio, and come over to the old leather couch for a journey into madness called Mazes and Monsters. Look how mad he is.
Acting.
I don't want you to worry for me, cause I'm alright. I'm just playing this game and it's making me crazed. I don't want you to worry for me, cause I'm alright. I'm just scared by some monsters and caught in a maze.
Mazes and monsters?
Right. You know how to play it?
My kids play it. I know the game.
Well,
Tell him to stop. It kills you now.
Mazes and Monsters begins with JJ coming home from college. Is that the meatball?
Yep.
He talks to his crazy mother, who's redecorated his room.
Voila!
Your own danger room!
She just doesn't understand him.
oh, well, I'll probably get straight A's again this term. Thanks, Mother.
Oh, he's terrible. Go back to camp, meatball. Meanwhile, Kate is talking to her mother on a wharf. And Daniel is having dinner with his parents.
Also rich.
What do these three people have in common? They all play Mazes and Monsters together. Back at Grant... Well, JJ's the one who wears hats.
Yeah.
We've got to find a fourth player.
We need a cleric, desperately. Who is this fourth player going to be? Could it possibly be Robbie, who is transferring to Grant? Robbie's parents are driving him to school. He's been having some problems with his grades. It seems that he's been playing a certain game and getting a little too into it. Also, his mother is a drunk.
I hate it when you drink.
I drink to get through the day.
A lot of you will think that I'm an aviator, but this is a lady's hat. I'm an aviatrix.
In the cafeteria, Robbie meets JJ. JJ invites Robbie to a party he's having that night.
It's a hoot. He's wearing a different hat this time.
I hate this kid and his stupid hats. I wish he would go insane and commit suicide. Robbie meets the rest of the gang. Robbie is a 9th level mazes and monsters enthusiast.
I used to play that at my last college, but then I had to drop out because I got really into the game. They're like, come on, we only play a couple times a week. What could go wrong?
And they convince him to play Mazes and Monsters with them.
They get together for the secret cabal of candles and games. They have their different characters.
I'm Glacia the fighter.
I am Freelick, the frenetic of Glossamere.
I am Pardieu, a holy man.
Yeah, see?
Hey.
Made him be the cleric.
Daniel's the game master, not a dungeon master. Don't call him a dungeon master.
Let the journey begin.
And it's great. They have a great time. Meanwhile, Robbie and Kate get a little friendly.
When they start a jogging relationship, which leads to a bedtimes relationship.
We're friends in this world.
Oh, friends. Oh, crap.
During an intimate moment, Robbie tells Kate about the disappearance of his brother years ago and how it still haunts him. Robbie has a dream. Run, Forrest, run!
Oh, hi, JJ. What's happening?
No. JJ Good Times. Rerun what's happening. Until that fateful night when JJ, in the guise of Freilick,
Freelick jumps into the pit to gather the treasure.
It's a trap.
No.
Freelick, the frenetic of Glossamere, is impaled and dies.
What, no die rolls? Come on!
JJ, that was really stupid, jumping into the pit without using your sonar first.
Sonar?
and then JJ gets all pouty.
You see, he's only 16 and he's in college already, and he's not really making friends as easily as he'd like to. So he decides he'll commit suicide, and then he'll become famous. Where better to commit suicide than at the Pequod Caverns?
Boy genius, suicides in caverns.
This has escalated quickly.
Robbie wants Kate to move into his dorm room with them. Apparently you can do that at this college.
Oh, a double bed.
Now we don't have to touch each other when we have sex.
I'm not ready yet.
He's a little bummed out about that. JJ goes and crawls around in these caverns. And if you really want to impress your classmates, you commit suicide on campus in a very public way.
Yes.
You don't go into a cavern where no one's going to find you for 2 years. Idiot.
And then they'll say, either this is some sort of crazed World War I veteran, or that kid with the stupid hats who disappeared a while back. He has a better idea while he's there.
I'd like to propose a new game.
It's called Orgy. Is everyone cool with that? That they start a new Mazes and Monsters campaign in the cavern. It'll be so authentic.
A couple of kids got lost in there once. They never found them.
Well, maybe we'll find them.
People are a little hesitant about this whole cavern idea, but eventually they're all on board.
So off our adventurers go to Pequod Caverns.
This movie is so ahead of its time. They're LARPing.
Yeah.
Beware of the sacrilege.
But Robbie gets a little too far into the fantasy, and he has a hallucination that he slays a monster.
The most frightening monsters are the ones that exist in our minds.
The more you know.
Now he believes that he is Pardieu, the holy man.
Bless you all.
His mind has been warped by the game.
Soon, Robbie starts having night visions called dreams.
Someone called the Great Hall.
Pardieu.
He needs to achieve the highest level he can, and the way that he does this is to become
Celibate.
No more sexy times with Kate.
Great Hall, I need you!
Wilson! Wilson!
Well, studying hard, I see.
Wanna have some sex? Robbie tells Kate that he can't be with her anymore.
Kate doesn't like this.
I think I scared him off.
I scared him off by freaking him nasty every night. Kate goes to the cavern for some reason. She gets lost. She is found by Daniel, who also happens to be at the cavern.
Oh God, I thought I was lost in here forever.
Well, we would have found you at our next gaming session.
Once we found a fourth, of course. Meanwhile, on the moon...
Now, Pardieu, you will know how to find me.
Robbie has gone missing.
Where would he go without clothes or his wallet?
The nudist colony! The three buddies call home to Robbie's mom. She's drunk and hasn't seen him.
Calcifies his drunken mother. They find a little map that Robbie has drawn, which mentions the two towers. What could those be? I also found this journal where he denies the Holocaust. Oh, Robbie's troubled. They look for him in the caverns. He's not there.
And there's really nothing that says Robbie thinks he's Pardue.
Maybe he thinks he's pain perdu. He's a crazy foodie.
Lost weekend does not make a lost person.
Just ask Ray Milland and his bat friend. Cue the bat. A detective comes in and investigates the case. They don't find anything.
I don't think I've ever seen Robbie depressed.
It's probably a simple drowning. We're gonna keep the beaches open for the 4th of July. Everyone's here, they're having a good time.
Yes, Robbie was getting peculiar.
And he refused my sexual advances.
I mean, look at me. No straight man wouldn't want to tap this. And he was straight. He was so straight with me for a while. And he loved it.
We haven't had much luck.
Particularly me in my career. You know, I was in John Frankenheimer's Seconds. Yeah, you haven't seen it? Check it out. It's a good movie. Are we back to where we began?
Whenever I hear a fire engine, I always imagine that it's just like really excited by everything it sees. It's just going. We've flown in Gary Gygax from Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, and he's going to give us some insights. The gang decides they need to find Robbie themselves. How are they going to do that?
By using our game playing skills.
Pardot, Saturday Night Live, live from New York. Yes!
Robbie is on the loose in New York City. He's wandering around in a daze.
Looking for the Great Hall and the two towers.
Robbie is accosted by two punks.
Give me that. These are my spells. I guard them with my life.
Give me those spells. Hey, Mickey, catch him. I want to cast a spell. Robbie stabs one of them in the gut. What is the other guy doing? He's just not helping his buddy at all?
Everything according to plan. Find the crazy guy who thinks he's a cleric, and I get all the mugging money.
For a minute, Robbie snaps out of it. He knows he's done something terrible. He goes to a payphone and calls Kate. She says,
"Meet us at JJ's mom's house. Here's the address."
It's 605 East 70th Street.
"We won't rescue you unless you start dating me again. If you want us to save you, you're going to have to give Kate some." But on the way to JJ's mother's apartment, he slips back into fantasy and he runs down into the depths of the subway. He meets a homeless guy who tells him how to get to the two towers. None of this would have happened to Robbie if he played Boot Hill instead. JJ and the gang show up. There's no sign of Robbie. Where could he have gone? Let's look at some clues.
I'm out of ideas.
Look at the stupid thing that he wrote. The 2 sentences that he wrote.
Wait a minute, 2 towers? That can only be one place.
The two towers are the Twin Towers, the World Trade Center.
Oh, come on. Don't bring us down.
Yeah, man.
National tragedy, JJ.
The towers.
The towers. The gang goes to the World Trade Center. They run around.
There's 2 of them. Why aren't you splitting up? This is the time to split up.
Robbie! Robbie!
There is no more Robbie. There is only Pandu. Pardue, damn it.
Pardue. They finally find Robbie. He's gonna jump.
Pardue!
And by using their gaming skills,
I have spells. I'm going to fly.
You don't have enough points. I am the maze controller.
they bring him back to reality.
JJ, what am I doing here?
I could have seen a show. Chorus line is playing.
3 months later, they go to visit Robbie.
God, you kids are just in time for martini lunch. Robbie is insane.
Hey, come on, Robbie. Stop fooling around.
Freelick, you have been restored to the living. Oh, Glacier.
Glacier, you trudged across the world and created lakes. Everyone's bummed out, but they play the game with him one last time, just for old time's sake.
We saw nothing but the death of hope and the loss of our friend.
Mazes and monsters. Speaking of monsters, I've got one right here who's been giving me trouble this whole time. What's your problem? Look at that. Look at that. Biting me like a monster. We saw nothing but the death of hope and the loss of our friend.
That's a pretty bleak ending of a movie there. TV movie. But we've all learned our lesson. I will never play Mazes and Monsters, no matter how fun it looks.
What did you think?
It was lame.
How so?
Well, it was just poorly shot. I thought Chris Makepeace was a passable actor when I was a kid, but no, he was really bad in this.
He's pretty bad. Tom Hanks is quite good.
He's really good.
Compared to those other three clowns.
He just, like, shows up and, like, the bar is raised.
Just in that first scene when he's in the car with his parents, just, like, everything he's not doing. It really gives you a sense of his character, just him sitting there silently. The quality, this is pretty crappy. There was an especially crappy quality to all TV movies that came out in this era, and I think it comes down to lighting and music.
Yeah.
The lighting is always bad, and the music is always just like, they just take what they can get that already exists.
Didn't fit at all into it.
There's no way for them to establish a mood because everything is so slapdash.
Yeah. It did have a crazy good cast of supporting people. Vera Miles was in it, and the guy who played the mayor in Jaws.
But unfortunately, the movie is just fear-mongering and propaganda for a problem that didn't even exist.
No.
This movie just totally gets it wrong. No one has ever put that much effort into candle placement in a gaming session.
How they introduced themselves. It was just so, look at us, we're ominous, we're acting like,
they're making it look like it's a cult. I'd like to talk about JJ for a second. Wait a minute, I'm sorry. I'd like to talk about JJ for a second. Which hats was he missing from his collection? Which key pieces would have really brought that whole thing together?
He should have had an arrow through his head at some point.
Sure. A bridal veil.
Bridal veil.
A papal mitre.
Like a Bobby's hat.
I just wish that in one scene, JJ would show up and he's wearing like a big Carmen Miranda fruit hat.
Oh, and maybe one of those like big, like Mom and Shaw's puppet heads.
With the clay?
Yes.
Any other pros to this movie?
No.
They sort of created this unique gamer culture. It had nothing to do with reality, but at least it was sort of a fully fleshed out ethos, an aesthetic, if you will, which was interesting to see when you weren't laughing at it.
Yeah. They started at what appeared to be the end of the movie. It wasn't the end of the movie. It was like the end of the movie minus 30. So you thought it was all leading to the caverns, but that was just a red herring.
So were you disappointed in the ending?
What's there to be disappointed about, Matt? Really.
Another big fault of the movie, and this was kind of the nature of the length of it, the plausibility of his turn into insanity, it just sort of instantly happens, which is kind of silly. But there's only so much you can do in 80 minutes, or however long this was.
Yeah, and they could have done that. It didn't have to be so long with the Scooby Gang trying to figure out where the buddy went off to. The homeless guy scene was pretty good, because the guy wasn't there to teach him a lesson, or to be crazy and scare him off, or to get stabbed.
Or the idea that New York will get you.
He was, somewhat concerned.
And he gave him a piece of just simple, useful information.
Yeah.
Final thoughts on Mazes and Monsters.
I'm not going to send my child to Grant University.
But now they offer a Mazes and Monsters Major, and their candle limit 3 candles.
But that's really torn down the candle industry in the Northeast.
That's the way it goes sometimes. Hey, we watched Mazes and Monsters. Thanks for joining us and watching it with us, and we hope that this will help you in your own mental health pursuits.
It's only a game.
Until someone loses an eye. Hey, would you like to go into a maze? Nah, you don't want to do that. Go to our website instead. Welcome to thebasementshow.com. All of our episodes are there, and there's a PayPal donation button. You can click on it. You can donate a few dollars to support our show. Our show is viewer-sponsored. Anything you can contribute will help.
We appreciate it, and you'll feel good about yourself.
Just like Michael, who says, always fun and entertaining. Oliver, Trevor, William, Aussie, and Tom, who says, thanks for letting me know that there is no holy mountain. You're welcome. And I can't forget to mention our monthly donors. These people have established rolling monthly donations. You contribute a certain amount every month. You don't even have to think about it. And those people are Patricia, Edward, Corey, Stephanie, Jason, Samantha, Kyle, Stephanie, Sierra, George, Tammy, Danielle, Joe, Michael, Brian, Steve, Lee, Michael, Jacqueline, David, Daniel, Joshua, Jonathan, and Merlin. Thanks, folks. Ding, 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 mail call.
Ooh.
Graham, who sent us this from his vacation in Hollywood.
Hooray.
Isaac from Mount Carmel, Pennsylvania. Mata or Nata from Richmond, Virginia.
Oh.
Hannah and Hayden from Paris.
We.
And another one from Michael U.S. Bonds. He wants to know if we've seen Near Dark. We have, and we talked about that in our Ishtar episode.
Caught 'em all.
And now, by Pardew's Blade, Seen It.
Seen it.
Now you've got a hat.
JJ.
Seen It is the part of the show where we read your suggestions on movies we should watch on this show, but we've seen them, so we can't do that, but we can talk about them now.
That we can.
Star Wars Star Trek 42 writes, you guys should watch the overlooked 1992 tech thriller Sneakers. Seen It.
Seen it.
This has got to be a movie that you love because it's got two of your favorites in it, River Phoenix and David Strathairn.
I don't love it. It's a fun movie.
Oh, it's nothing but fun.
Yeah, and it's got one of the best casts ever. Ben Kingsley plays the villain. Robert Redford, Sidney Poitier.
Dan Aykroyd.
Dan Aykroyd's in it, yeah.
Why did you think it was just okay?
It's fun. It just didn't thrill me as much as I would have liked.
The ensemble is so tight, and the comedy is good, and it's almost like a heist movie. Well, basically it's a heist movie because they got to break into a thing.
How is it with computers? The whole computers are magic thing, is it past that, or is it a little bit more practical?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I saw it in the era that it was released, so whatever they said about computers probably was what I believed at the time.
Yeah.
I don't know how well it's aged. I wouldn't mind watching it again. It's a whole lot of fun.
Do that.
Maybe I will.
Maybe you will. Fabus Plays Games writes, speaking of bottle movies, which we weren't, have you guys seen Carnage? It's a great one. Seen it.
This is a fun take on the whole Buñuel exterminating angel conceit, where none of the characters can leave the area. Once you realize that that's happening, it's really a lot of fun because, you know, they get into that elevator, you know that elevator door is not closing. Another great cast.
I know. For me, it's automatic tension if someone says, let's go, and they don't go. And they say, let's go about 45 seconds into the movie. So, like, the next hour and a half, I'm just like, just go already.
David Archer McGrath Gauk writes, Treasure of the Sierra Madre, a powerful morality tale whose humor is as black as the heart of its central character. Seen it.
Seen it.
A friend of mine back in the 90s, he considered himself a film buff, although he didn't like to watch black and white movies because they put him to sleep.
Not a film buff.
Yeah. I was watching this, and he sat down and watched it, and there's that scene towards the beginning where there's a bar fight, and there's no music. And he's kind of like, oh, why didn't the filmmaker put music in that? That's what you underscore action scenes with music. But he was totally off base because the absence of music was what made the fight so brutal. You just heard these fist noises and chairs scraping against the thing. You feel every punch that they throw, and this movie is just full of scenes like that.
Truly magnificent performance by Humphrey Bogart and Walter Huston, John Huston's father, who got an Oscar for this movie.
Tim Holt from Ambersons in this?
He could be. Yeah,
I think he's the third guy. Yeah.
Hayden Karlheim writes, have you seen King Kong? Hayden Karlheim writes, have you seen King of Kong, A Fistful of Quarters? It's a really fun documentary. Yes, seen it.
Seen it.
A documentary about a man who is going for the world record score in Donkey Kong, and it plays as good as any of the great sports documentaries ever made.
And it features a real-life supervillain in the form of the guy who's the former Donkey Kong champ.
They make him look like the devil incarnate with
a mullet.
For one thing. Yeah, the devil wouldn't have a mullet.
You've got the kind of hero of the piece, you've got the heel, and they don't really clash at all. It's the whole tension is the fact that they don't really interact.
It's much like Mario, and he never actually meets Donkey Kong. Whenever he gets close,
That's true.
The monkey just climbs off to the next screen.
That's Seen It.
And that's our show.
Mazes and Monsters. We got through it with our sanity intact. Or did we? Better be lucky I don't have a knife on me.
You better be lucky I don't have a supply of hats.
We hope you had a good time, and we hope you'll join us next time, which is the beginning of Sci-Fi July. What sci-fi movies do you think we should watch in July? Do you mind? Let us know in the comments. In the meantime, stay safe, stay sane, and good night.
Good night.
I drink to get through the day.